All right, let's talk about two of the most infamous little words in French, en and e. I mean, if these two have ever just completely stumped you, well, you are definitely not alone. And you've come to the right place to finally sort them out. Seriously, it's like a rite of passage for anyone learning French, right? You see en and y everywhere. You know they're important, but which one do you use? It can feel like you're just flipping a coin, but I promise you, it's not random. There's a logic to it. It's kind of like a puzzle, and today we're going to put the pieces together. So where do we even start with this whole N or Y dilemma? Well, the best way to tackle anything confusing is to just break it down into smaller pieces. So that's what we're going to do. We'll look at each one by itself to really get what its main job is. Ready? Let's kick things off with N. All right, so for the next little bit, we're going to focus completely on the pronoun en. Our goal here is pretty simple. By the time we're done with this section, you'll know exactly what en does and when you should be reaching for it. Okay, if you remember one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. This is the golden rule for en. Ready? It almost always replaces something that follows the little word, de. That's it. If you can burn that connection into your brain, en goes with de, you've honestly won half the battle already. So let's see that de rule in action. It really boils down to two main scenarios. First up, we've got quantity. You know, when you say something like j'ai 3 livres, I have 3 books. To say I have 3 of them, you swap out livre for en and get j'en ai 3. See how that works? The second case is when you're replacing a whole chunk of a sentence that starts with de. So instead of saying je parle de ce film over and over, you just say j'en parle. I'm talking about it. So simple, right? And here's a fantastic little mental shortcut for you. Anytime you're talking about a quantity, doesn't matter if it's a number like toi or something unspecific like du café, some coffee, that should be a huge flashing light in your brain that says use en. It's probably the most reliable clue you'll get.
And, to make life even easier, there are certain verbs that are just basically married to the preposition de. They always go together. Think about expressions like avoir besoin de, to need something, or parler de, to talk about something. Because that de is already built in, when you want to replace the something, guess what you use? Yep, you use en. These are like little cheat codes for your French.
Okay, how are we feeling about un? Hopefully it's starting to click. Awesome. So now that we've got a handle on that, let's switch gears and look at its partner in crime, the pronoun ye. So you know how en had its best friend, the preposition de? Well, e has a partner too, the preposition a. That's the main idea right there. E is all about replacing either a place or something that's introduced by a. So if n is de, then e is all about a and locations. Let's break that down a bit. There are really two big jobs for e. The first one, and this is the big one, is for a location. You say, je vais à Paris. I'm going to Paris. You just swap that whole location out and say, j'y vais. I'm going there. Super straightforward. The second job is for things, and this is important, just things, not people, that come after a verb with a. So if you're thinking about your work, je pense à mon travail, you can shorten that to j'y pense. I'm thinking about it. And just like we had a shortcut for en, here's the one for y. It's so simple. If you're talking about a place, it's almost always y. Seriously. If what you're replacing is a location, a city, a room, the store, even just the word there, your brain should just immediately go to y. It's going to be right like 99% of the time. Okay, listen up because this is super important. This is a classic mistake and we're going to make sure you don't fall into it. While y is great for replacing things that come after a, it is absolutely, positively never used for people. So if you're talking to Marie, je parle à Marie, you do not say j'y parle. No way. For people, you have to use a different pronoun, like je lui parle. I'm talking to her. So let's get that straight. Y is for places and things, not people. Got it? All right, we've put n under the microscope. We've done the same for e. Now it's time for the main event. Let's put them side by side, a little head-to-head comparison, so the difference between them is absolutely crystal clear. And look at this. It really doesn't get any simpler than this little table. This is basically your ultimate cheat sheet. If you're ever stuck, just come back to this. Is the phrase you're replacing connected to de or is it a quantity? Bam, use en. Is it connected to a or is it a place? You got it, use y. That's the entire logic in a nutshell. Okay, for those of you who like little memory tricks, this one is gold. It helps you really feel the difference. For en, which is connected to de, think of a word like descend, like something is coming from a source, of or from. For y, connected to a, think of the verb aller. You're going to a destination, so en is from, and y is to. That's such a great way to make it stick. Okay, we've covered the rules, we've talked about the big traps to avoid, and we've even got a cool memory trick. So I think you're ready. It's your turn to play. Let's do a super quick quiz to see how you do. Okay, first question. Someone asks you, tu vas à l'école? You're going to school? How would you answer that using one of our new pronouns? Take a second, think about it. Did you get it? The answer is tu y vas. Yep, you're going there. Why ya? Because à l'école is a place, a destination. Perfect. All right, next one. Tu veux du pain? You want some bread. How would you shorten that one? What's the key word here?
The answer is tu en veux. You want some of it. The key was du pain. That's a quantity. And what did we say about quantities? They always get en. Excellent.
Okay, how about this one? Il parle de son travail. He's talking about his work. How do we simplify that? Look for the clue in the sentence. And of course, it's il en parle. He's talking about it. The dead giveaway was parler de. As soon as you see that de, you know it's got to be en. Last one, you're doing great. Here it is. Elle pense à son examen. She's thinking about her exam. Which pronoun do we need? And tell me why. And the final answer is elle y pense. She's thinking about it. The clue was the verb penser à, and because her exam is a thing, not a person, y is the perfect choice. And that's it. Look at that. Something that might have seemed really confusing just a few minutes ago is now, well, it's a pretty clear set of rules, right? You've seriously just leveled up your French grammar. So, feeling good? The only question now is, what are you going to tackle next?